Hello, welcome to another episode of Pick a Side. Today we have a lot of topics. We're nearing the start of the NBA season again, and today is a lot of topics about the NBA. We're going to get right into it, and we're going to start with Riv and JC. They're going to debate, and it's going to be Bradley Beal or Jason Tatum. We know that Bradley Beal averaged a ton of points this past season, and Jason Tatum has been on an all-star leap. So we're going to debate who is better right now. So, JC, who would you pick, Bradley Beal or Jason Tatum?
I'm taking Bradley Beal. I'm taking Bradley Beal simply for the fact that he was second in the NBA in scoring. He's not a bad playmaker. I just want to highlight his team. I mean, he had a rookie, Roy Hachimura, pretty good. Davis Bertans, Thomas Bryant, Jordan McRae. That doesn't sound like a good team. Mind you, since the All-Star break, he's been putting up actually 37 points per game, which is leading the NBA. I think he's a better overall scorer than Jason Tatum, though I think Jason Tatum will take it in a couple years. But right now, give me the guy who's averaging 30.5 points per game. And Rivs, I know what Riv's going to say, empty stats, but I just named you his teammates. So I would just want to ask you, Riv, if Jason Tatum was putting up these numbers, would you have the same energy? Or would you just – you feel me? So right now, I think you have to give the slight edge to Bradley Beal. What do you think?
So I'm assuming you're a debater and a narrator today. Okay. So listen, I get it. The stats looking nice. His team sucks, so the stats are gonna be a little exciting. But let's just put the stats away. Just put them to the side for a little bit.
Okay.
Let's just talk man to man, me and you, eye test. Let's just talk eye test.
Okay.
Jason Tatum is the more skilled player. He's the better basketball player. Not to mention he can play defense. Bradley Beal, I think Joel is the one who told me this. Bradley Beal is one of the worst defenders in the league.
He's pretty
This
bad.
year, that's a fact. Yeah,
he's one of the worst defenders in the league. There's no denying that. He's one of the worst defenders. Now, Jason Tatum, he's still young, and we haven't seen the playoff expectations yet. But we've seen what we're going to get from Bradley Beal. Yeah, he's throwing up 30 points a game, but on the team –
and 37 since All-Star break.
On a playoff team, he's a 22, 23-point scorer. Jason Tatum is a 23-point scorer right now at 21 years old. They both can shoot the three ball. I think Jason Tatum, in a winning situation, leading his team, you got to give him the edge because he's putting on performance night after night after night on a big stage with a great team against competition, and they're going to the playoffs. I mean, I think if you switch Bradley Beal and you switch Jason Tatum, I don't know how that would fit because, like I said,
Boston would still be a playoff team.
Yeah, but like I said before, Bradley Beal is one of the worst defenders in the league.
But that's the thing with Boston; they have a lot of good defenders. If you look at the Wizards roster, I mean, they don't have anybody outside of Bradley Beal. He hasn't been good on defense this year. But if you just look at Davis Bertans, Roy Hachimura, Isaiah Thomas for a large stretch, Jordan McRae, these aren't great. These aren't good defenders.
So that makes him not play defense? I
think the game is predicated on team defense. So if one player messes up their assignment, Bradley Beal might get blamed for it. So
kind of how Steph Curry, like in a Steph Curry sense. Steph Curry, we would all agree he's not the best defender, but he has Klay Thompson, he has Draymond Green, he had rim protection. That helps. You know what I mean?
That definitely does help, but it doesn't help.
Bradley Beal, that's what I'm saying. Bradley Beal doesn't have anybody that can anchor the defense for him, like how maybe Draymond Green would for Golden State, or maybe even how someone like Jaylen Brown, who's a really good defender on Boston. You know what I mean?
That didn't change the narrative. Steph Curry having all that never in our lives changed the narrative that he was a good defender. I don't think putting those guys together would change the narrative on Bradley Beal. I think he's just not that good of a defender. As a person, as a basketball player, as a basketball player, when you're guarding somebody, if you lock up, you lock up. But who's behind you? Who's next to you? If you play defense, you play defense. I think you put Jimmy Butler in that system, he may not put up the point. He's still going to play defense. You put Klay Thompson, he's still going to play defense. It's just if you play D, you play D. It's just Bradley Beal's.
I think obviously
scoring, I think Bradley Beal may put up more points. But Jason Tatum is sharing the ball with Kemba, who's a 20-point scorer. Jaylen Brown's a 20-point scorer. Gordon
So
Hayward.
wouldn't that make things easier though, that you have more people that the defense has to worry about?
Yeah,
Like you're throwing a lot of like I was watching film on the Wizards this year, and there was literally a point after the All-Star break when he was still putting up 36, 37, that teams were literally doing the James Harden treatment on Bradley Beal, just doubling him at half court. And you have to force people like Roy Hachimura and all these people. I want to add in that Bradley Beal is a very underrated playmaker. He's a really good passer.
No,
He's
I agree.
not a bad passer. I think he's a better passer than Jason Tatum. I think that also helps in terms of offense. I don't think Jason Tatum is the best playmaker, but I don't think he's terrible. I know Bradley Beal shoots slightly better from the field. He shoots slightly worse from the three, but he's taking 8 attempts a game. And I'm just saying, man, the man that's putting up 37, and the Wizards were 9th in the East. I know the East is weak, but in their last 18 games, they were actually 9-9, and they had just finished. Bradley Beal had just dropped 40 on the Knicks in a W. And if you look at their next 5 games, they were really easy. They were teams that were below 500. Now, I'm not saying they could have made a run at the playoffs.
Wait,
Bradley Beal is literally doing everything that he can.
I don't know.
He has a rookie.
Hold on,
JC.
Hold on, JC. Joel, he gave you a 40?
I barely watched the Knicks, even though they're my team this year.
I mean, that's the last game. That's the last game that showed in the box score, and it said that he had 40 points, and they won. But like,
I mean, I have a question for you, JC, because I think this question hit you in the heart.
Okay.
So you're a Nets fan. If you had to choose between having Jason Tatum on your team or Bradley Beal, who would you pick?
I would take Bradley Beal just because I have Kevin Durant and they play the same position.
That's fair. But, you know, they both can – Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum are interchangeable. They can play the 3 and the 4.
Yeah, I think we would need way more of an upgrade at the shooting guard position. I think Joe Harris is a solid player, but, I mean, give me Bradley Beal all day.
I would disagree. I would disagree, Joel.
And Bradley Beal's an elite shooter. He's still an elite shooter. He is an elite shooter. This is the only year that he's shot below 39% from the three, and he's taking almost 9 attempts a game from the three.
That's good.
That's fair to say elite. I would say Jason Tatum is the more versatile shooter because he can hit the mid-range and he can get the post-up shot. He has the fadeaway in his game. I'll
give you the post.
I disagree with you on that, JC, because your upgrade for the Nets, you guys need defense, and Jason Tatum can play defense. I'm not saying he's a worthy defender.
Nah, he's a good defender.
Yeah, he's a good defender.
He's a good defender.
But he can play D, and you guys need that more than anything. So I get the stats. The stats are cool and they're great. I mean, Trae Young put up 29-9. His team's garbage, but like, I just don't see I think eye test really tell you Jason Tatum is really nice. Bradley Beal's nice too, though.
Bradley Beal's a dog.
I mean, I think that you have a point with the eye test, but I mean, honestly, how many times have you been able to judge the Wizards or Bradley Beal off of eye test? They haven't even been on TV.
That's fair. That's
Jason Tatum on TV a lot.
For the casual fan, I understand what you're saying. That's fair. So because it's different. I've seen Bradley Beal play in the playoffs, but he's a different player than what he was when he was playing next to John Wall. So that's another thing too. John Wall's coming back, so it's.
I think this team's gonna be ran by Bradley Beal once John Wall comes back. Right now, I think Bradley Beal's better than John Wall.
It's hard to say that because you can't take the ball out of John Wall's hands because he's a point guard. He doesn't move.
In my opinion, one of them's gonna have to go. And if I'm the GM, I'm keeping
nobody's
Bradley
taking
Beal.
John Wall's 44
I'm taking Bradley Beal.
Nobody's taking John Wall's contract. I'm telling you that right now.
I don't know. That's another discussion with another day. I mean, John Wall's coming off 2 horrific injuries. I don't even know if this dude's gonna be able to really be that guy anymore. But I just wanted to highlight, man, dude, he has a rookie power forward who's a nice player. Roy Hachimura is a good player. I like him. I mean, but Davis Bertans, Thomas Bryant, a lot of people call these empty stats, but he has to do this. And
that's
with a team that has no defender, they had Isaiah Thomas, who hasn't been the same since his injury, running the point guard for a really long time. It's just I
would say this is
doing everything that he can do.
This is the first time we've seen Bradley Beal as the man, and he's putting up 30. So I want to see what he can do.
Last year he put up 27 a game too.
Yeah, I want to see what he could do when they're a playoff team and he's the man. So I'm waiting to see that part. That's what I want to see. I want to see him as the man.
Since you feel that way, Riv, what do you feel is? Do you think Bradley Beal is a top 15 player in the NBA right now?
Hell no. Hell no. I can name 50. Oh man, are we counting injured guys or no?
Look, there's two separate ways. If you're counting injured guys, then you can add Kevin Durant.
and Steph Curry. Okay.
No, I
So
already
just put out a list right now, and I'll count it.
Kevin Durant.
1.
Okay.
Steph Curry.
2.
LeBron.
3.
Kawhi.
4.
Giannis.
5,
James Harden.
6.
Anthony Davis.
7.
Nikola Jokic.
8.
Damian Lillard.
9.
Russell Westbrook.
10.
And I gotta get Joel Embiid.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah. What are you gonna argue that?
Nah, I said Damian Lillard.
I said that already. Oh, okay. I said that already.
Luka,
easily. What is that, 11?
Yeah, it's 12.
12. Klay Thompson?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't give you that easily.
Okay, that's debatable. We're going to throw that in the big column. That's debatable.
When is it? Hold on. All right,
who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing somebody.
I mean, you could say Jimmy Butler.
Kyrie Irving.
I kind of don't agree with Jimmy Butler. You could say Paul George. I'll give you Paul George.
That's 15
hey,
right
Westbrook.
there.
Westbrook.
I said Westbrook.
Okay, so look.
So you're at 14.
So I have a question
14?
for you. When is durability going to come into play here? Because Kyrie Irving, as much as I like him, he's only played 20 games. He can barely play a full season. Kevin Durant, that's Kevin Durant. He's obviously better, but
I'm going to rebuttal you. When does durability what does durability have to do with your game style? Like how you play?
Well, would you rather somebody who's a really good player?
Would you rather and who's better or two different questions?
Because look, Bradley Beal, I don't know if you guys know this. He's played 82 games, 3 straight seasons, and he didn't miss a game this year. So he's always there.
Wait, did you name Giannis?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did.
That was my
Giannis was his third pick. So, I mean, look, this year, I'm going to make an argument. I don't know how crazy it's going to sound to you guys, but I think Bradley Beal is better than Jimmy Butler. And I
tomato.
Really do. I think if you put Bradley Beal on Miami, I think they'd still be a really good team. Jimmy Butler was shooting horrific from the three-point line this year, averaging 20 points per game. Bradley Beal's a good playmaker. He's a better shooter, better scorer, better passer. I mean, the only thing, not a better passing, I'll give it to Jimmy Butler. I'll give it to Jimmy Butler, but Bradley Beal's a really underrated passer. My thing is you're gaining somebody who scores the rock better than him.
Can I hear your 15?
Huh?
I want to hear your 15.
All right. So I have
No, name me somebody we didn't name. No, name your 15 actually. Just name your 15.
Okay, so I'm doing an order. So I got LeBron, Kawhi.
Did I say LeBron?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, AD, Curry, Harden, Westbrook, Embiid, Jokic, Kyrie, Lillard, PG, Luka, and then Bradley Beal. If we're doing not injuries, if we're doing injuries, then if we're doing injuries aside, then I can't really sit here and say that he's better than Kevin Durant.
No, it's fine. Up the injuries. You really honestly think he's better than Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, look, what does Jimmy Butler definitively do better than him besides
defense?
I gave it defense. We don't have to talk about that. Bradley Beal's one of the worst, one of the most poor defenders in the league.
I think.
Can Jimmy score better than him?
Wait, hold on. I just want to say this because I think what Jimmy brings to the table, the leadership, the grit, the work ethic, I think the stuff he brings doesn't show up in the stats.
So I was looking at a list, and it was a freaking slideshow list, so it took me a while. But all right, so there's some players that might be debatable that I have.
Oh, you have a list too?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
That's debatable.
Fair.
Chris Paul.
Debatable.
I was thinking about that. Not gonna lie.
Ben Simmons.
No debate.
Fair.
And hold up, let me see.
Actually,
it's a slideshow, and I'm like at 1, so it's gonna take me like 5 seconds. I hate things like this because it makes no sense. Just put out a list. All right, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns. That was the one.
Oh, he's a big though, so it's like
that's
debatable. Those are 4 debatable.
Those are for look, outside of maybe Ben Simmons, I think Bradley Beal is slightly better than all of the slightly better. That's the difference between being in the top 15.
Future, you take Bradley Beal over Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
But right now,
he's on his way out.
Is
Bradley Beal's only 26 too.
Can I say this? Can I ask this question? I have to ask this question. Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell. Those 3 names. Jimmy Butler goes to Miami. He brings that grit, that grind. They're one of the 5 best teams in the East. Chris Paul goes to OKC. They weren't projected to make the playoffs. I think we all know that.
They had a really good team, though. That was like one of the projections that
and Donovan Mitchell.
That was one of the projections that the people projecting got wrong.
But we didn't think they would be this good, though.
I thought they would be pretty good, though.
I'm saying that
Adams.
I'm saying the majority. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the majority, though. The majority of people. Donovan Mitchell, he's the leader of his team. Offensively, I think we all agree to that. He's the leader. Donovan's the leader of his team. We plug Bradley Beal in those three situations. Is he doing the same thing as those guys?
Well, Miami, if I'm going to just talk about Miami first.
This is a question for you, too, just by the way.
All right.
If I'm talking
Miami, well, you could go first, JC.
I mean, look, Miami, I'm pretty sure we can all agree nobody thought that they would be, a top 3 seed this year?
Well, they're like 5 or 4 now.
So, I mean, look, they have a good roster, though. They have Bam Adebayo's pretty good. They got shooters. I think if you put Bradley Beal, I mean, I don't know. I mean, outside defensively, I don't know. You're actually gaining a better scorer.
But you're gaining a guy who's ball
You're
dominant.
gaining a better shooter. You're gaining a better scorer. I mean, we've seen Bradley Beal as a second option average, 23, 24 points per game behind John Wall, who we can all agree. I mean, not all, but maybe you, Riv, he was a ball-dominant player. Right?
So is Bradley Beal this year, though.
Well, that's because he had.
But Miami's orchestrated on everybody. They share the ball.
So you don't think Bradley Beal would change his game playing on a way better team?
I mean,
so you think he would just still be jacking up like what? This season he shot 19 shots per game. So you think he'd just be jacking up 19 shots per game?
I think he would change his game to have a liability on defense.
I mean, what was Miami's defensive rating?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I think doesn't have that. Jimmy Butler matches what Miami wants to do perfectly, but I think
he fits them.
Made that if we're talking about better players, it's more about which team can go farther if you build the right team around said player. So which team can go farther if you build around Jimmy Butler or you build around Bradley Beal?
Well, we've never seen a Bradley Beal built team, so it's.
I mean, Joel. I've heard you say this, and I kind of agree with you. You can't win a championship with Jimmy Butler being your best player.
It's not.
You can't win a championship either.
That's what I'm saying. So their roles, could we see them being the second fiddle, third fiddle on a championship? We saw Jimmy Butler as a third fiddle in Philly, and it didn't work out.
Who was the second fiddle?
Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler.
What? That's the problem right there. Ben Simmons was the second fiddle. That was the problem. There should be no way Ben Simmons.
Okay, so then let's say he was a second. So let's say he was a second option.
That team was
bad coaching. Their bench was horrible.
It was. But Bradley Beal's starting lineup is probably the same amount of like good as Philly's bench. You have Ish Smith starting. I'd rather have T.J. McConnell than Ish Smith starting.
That's true.
Because he plays defense.
That's true.
I just think, Rib, I just personally think I think that you think Bradley Beal is a good player, but I think that you think his stats are inflated. But I mean, like, I just want you to understand. I mean, if you look at the roster he has to go out and do that. Now, listen. Can we all agree that if Jimmy Butler went to the Wizards with the way he was playing this year, he ain't dropping 30?
No.
He ain't dropping 30.
I don't think
he had his jump shot this year. I think he shot from the 3-point line? 24, 25%.
He would have been traded mid-year. He would have wanted out of there.
You know what I mean? And then, look, Bradley Beal's he's the younger player. Jimmy Butler's 30. Bradley Beal just turned 26. And I just think, like, he's improving. If you look at his years outside when John Wall left, he's improving. The year that John Wall was there, the last year 24, last year 27, this year 30.
I mean, he's a scorer. Don't get me wrong, he's a scorer.
And he's an underrated passer, better shooter. I mean,
I think it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. He just gives up so much defensively. So it's just like, that's a tough way to go. Like,
all right,
too much.
Basically, to conclude what was being talked about, JC thinks that Bradley Beal is a top 15 player, and River thinks that the player that has probably the worst hairline in NBA 2K history is not in Bradley Beal, with the patches on the side of his
fact.
Yeah, he dead does though.
His hair grows here.
Okay, so you don't think Bradley Beal's a top 15 player, Riv, and JC, you do. So that's it. So if you guys think that Bradley
Let
Beal's
us know what you think in the comment
player,
section.
yeah, let us know what you think in the comment section. If you
Let
think
us know. I'm interested in this.
It's time to move on to better things. This player Kawhi Leonard, he got traded to Toronto. As soon as he gets there, great team. I think we can all acknowledge that. They go to the chip. They win the chip over the injured Golden State Warriors. And I know Joel's going to have a lot to say about this. So we're going to start off with Joel. Joel, did Kawhi Leonard get too much credit for winning that championship?
Yes. Kawhi Leonard gets an absurd amount of credit for winning a championship that was lifted off by a lot of the role players. 5 role players averaged double digits in the finals for Kawhi Leonard. And that's against an injured Warriors team. See, this is a problem with Kawhi Leonard and the media. People think Kawhi is, unanimously the best player in the world because he wins a finals MVP, even though he's not facing the team that every superstar player had to face. LeBron James faced a different Warriors team than Kawhi. James Harden faced a different Warriors team than Kawhi. But Kawhi,
he's played them before, though.
Kawhi gets praised the most out of everybody. Same thing in San Antonio. Wins a finals MVP, even though Tony Parker averaged more points than him. Tim Duncan was an anchor for them on defense. So it was every team that Kawhi has won a championship on, it has been a group effort. Everybody has chipped in. Game 6 of the finals. The MVP for that game was Fred VanVleet. I would have voted for him as finals MVP, honestly. Fred VanVleet.
Who'd you vote for?
Major contributor to Game 6. And Fred VanVleet was huge throughout the series. Kyle Lowry as well. His teammates set up him to succeed. I'm not saying that Kawhi didn't do a lot. He did a lot, obviously. He was the best player on the team. But to feel like Kawhi Leonard was a one-man show is ridiculous because he wasn't.
Wait. So, Joel, just before JC goes, if you had to vote, who would you give in your vote for finals MVP?
Look, obviously, for the Raptors and Warriors, it's Kawhi.
No, I'm saying besides Kawhi.
Besides Kawhi,
so co-MVP.
Probably Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, that 30 ball first game was a tone set.
34.
That was a tone. He struggled throughout the series, and then
Fred VanVleet
was huge, but I think, I just burped. But I just think it was a huge effort collectively as a unit. And
Serge Ibaka.
And I think Nick Nurse, he had a great scheme against Steph Curry using a box and one. So they had great coaching, they had great players. So to say that Kawhi is just, one-man show, all this, all that, I don't agree with it.
And the box and one works well when you throw different defenders at him. Big, small, strong, skinny, like it works. JC, talk to me. Do you agree with Joel?
Okay, so to answer that question, if Kawhi gets so much credit for the championship, I'm going to say no.
Oh.
Now I'm gonna say no because look, I'm not gonna talk about the first. I'm gonna do this by I'm gonna make it short and sweet with each series. I'm not gonna talk about the Orlando Magic because that was a gentleman's sweep basically. Okay, so for the postseason, he averaged 30 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. This is on the way to the finals. Versus Philly, 35, 10, 4 against Philly. Siakam played pretty well. He averaged 19 and 6. That was a help there. Lowry and the rest of the roster struggled. Lowry shot 39%. Nobody else in that roster scored over double digit in points. Kawhi also hit the biggest shot, probably. I don't want to say of all time, but one of the biggest shots that we've ever seen.
In that decade, definitely.
One of the luckiest, too.
In the decade, definitely biggest shot in the decade.
I also want to point in that Kawhi Leonard, if you look at his 2018 postseason run, that's amongst top 10 all time and one of the best postseason runs. If you look at it, I'll show you guys a link later on the side. Versus Milwaukee, 30 points per game, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Pascal Siakam struggled, who was the second option.
Cooked your boy. He cooked your boy.
Okay, he did. So,
cooked your boy.
I mean, look, Kyle Lowry. I mean, everybody, for the most part, I don't want to say struggle, but they weren't performing up to par. You saw what Kawhi Leonard did. He averaged 30 points per game, averaged 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and took the initiative in shutting down the league MVP. Held them down. They won 4 straight games and route to the finals. Now we're on to the Warriors. I agree with Joel saying that he had help, but I just want to point out the fact that Kawhi led the team in scoring. He led the team in rebounds. He led the team in steals, and he actually led the team in blocks. Didn't lead the team in assists. That was actually Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet second. Shot 37% from the three and 44% from the field. Won Finals MVP too. I just think that his impact is kind of getting underrated because of what the role players, what most of them were supposed to do. Now, did we expect Fred VanVleet to come out and average, 16 points? I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that. Did I expect Serge Ibaka to average a double-double? I didn't expect that either. But if we're talking about the finals, you can say that he definitely had help. But if you look at everything that led up to the finals, the run and everything that was en route to set up the finals, I think Kawhi doesn't get enough credit. When I said that he had a top 10 postseason run, Riv made a face. And that just shows right there that –
No, you said – because I heard you say a year. I thought you said the wrong year, though.
But okay. I mean, 2018 was one of the most historic postseason runs ever. And he capped it off with a Finals MVP.
Yeah, you keep saying 2018. It's 2019.
Is it 2020? All right.
2018-2019 season.
2018-2019.
That's why I kept getting messed up.
Yeah, 2018-2019. You're right.
What you got to say about that? He scored top 10 run.
Here's what I have to say. One, he does deserve some credit. Does he deserve as much credit as you're trying to praise him for? Absolutely not.
How about for the series before?
Kawhi shouldn't even have let DJ Augustine completely cook the Raptors and win a game.
I remember that game.
The last time anybody even thought he had potential was when he played for the Bobcats. That's not even a team anymore. The next series against Philly, yes, he hit one of the luckiest shots. Those are one of the shots that you break your disc in your PlayStation after somebody hits on you if you're playing 2K.
He had a great series, though.
He had a great series, but that's
amazing series. That was actually his best series.
Shots. And Ben Simmons was his primary defender, and he's
that's one of the luckiest shots. And then the next series,
first Milwaukee
started out 2-0, and it wasn't until Nick Nurse designed a game plan to build the Great Wall of China for Giannis and not allow him in the paint. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like Kawhi was defending him one-on-one.
As well.
I was staring before you ask a question. I was watching the games. And I kept shaking my head because in the fourth quarter, especially the series went to 6 games, right?
Yeah.
In game 6, I'm watching the series. I'm watching the fourth quarter, and I'm just shaking my head because I'm like, why is Mike Budenholzer still have Eric Bledsoe in the game instead of putting George Hill and having a shooting lineup out there? I felt like part of the series was lost because of mismanagement by Mike Budenholzer. So, I mean, Kawhi played great. We know that. But to give him the credit for Nick Nurse game planning a perfect game plan, to give him credit for hitting a lucky shot, I feel like that's a little absurd.
I just want to ask this question, JC, before you go. Okay. You say they built the Great Wall, but let me ask you a hypothetical. You put another good defender in Kawhi's spot to play to be the stopper at the top. Would that Great Wall work?
It probably will. Giannis can't shoot. He has to get by it.
There's not too many defenders that you can put on an island with that are on an island with Giannis that defends better than Kawhi.
If you're building a wall with a 7'1" Gasol, or I think he's 7 foot, the 7 foot Gasol, a 7 foot Ibaka, a 6'10", 6'9",
you got that man at the top. So I don't.
Okay, so my rebuttal for this. So we would all agree Pascal Siakam's a pretty good defender, right? For the most part,
he's cooking him. Giannis was
exactly.
Cooking
so
him.
now, if they had ran that same game plan with Pascal Siakam guarding him, will we have the same results?
Look,
he
was doing them bad.
Maybe not Siakam, but
he's a good defender.
It's not like Giannis only had to get by one person. He had to get by one.
But it's hard to get by that one person
and then run into.
That's a 2-time defensive player of the year right there.
So this is the thing. Look, in my opinion.
Kawhi
may have slowed him down a little bit, but I don't think the game plan falters if it's Torrey Craig or PJ Tucker guarding Giannis at the top. Because I think you have that other layer that you have to get by, and Giannis couldn't get by that.
Oh, Lord.
Did you just
Torrey Craig?
Did you just put Torrey Craig on the same?
Torrey Craig isn't a bad defender.
Did you just put him on the same level as Kawhi?
I never said that. I said
yes,
I never said he's on the same level. I said he's a good defender who he could do a solid job, especially if he has a wall behind him protecting him. He could do a good job.
Giannis is gonna blow past him.
He's gonna baby him.
Yo, what's wrong with you?
He won't baby Serge Ibaka. He won't baby Serge Ibaka.
You wouldn't leave Serge Ibaka on an island with Giannis. Giannis would cook him too.
This is the thing. Giannis wasn't on an island. Like, he wasn't on an island the whole series.
Well, look.
Giannis was struggling to get past the first wall, bro.
No, listen, the wall is – I'll give Joel credit for that. That's an excellent defensive scheme. But you're guarding a man who plays in the paint. Like, what else is he going to do?
No, he takes the ball up, though. He was taking the ball up.
He was struggling to get past Kawhi and throwing turnovers when Kawhi was on him. Kawhi's a big physical freak. You see his hands? Like, you're trying to disrespect Kawhi a little too much now. You said Torrey Craig, bro. Come on. Like,
and then we talk
Tucker,
about the finals. Then we talk about the finals. The Raptors barely won. A lot of the games were close.
Except
Klay Thompson was hurt the whole series. Kayvon Looney was hurt. Who was their starting lineup at one point? I can't remember 3 players that were starting for them at one point.
It was bad. Quinn Cook was starting one time. Started one time. That's how bad it was.
I really can't. Like,
Klay Thompson got hurt game 6, right?
And maybe if Steph Curry scores in the fourth quarter, maybe if Steph Curry shows up in the fourth quarter, then the Warriors might have won some games. But he didn't show up in the fourth, and that's why they lost some of those. Especially, what about the game when Steph Curry dropped like 49? What did he have? Like
47?
It was 47.
He didn't show up in the fourth. Maybe
if they got blown out that game,
they would have won.
Yo, with Joel. So
hold on, JC. Hold on, JC. Whoa. Did you just say they could have won game 4? Did you know who was playing that game?
I'm saying, if Curry would have maybe showed up in the fourth, they would have had a better chance.
I'm not even gonna get into that. Somebody you like doesn't even make the finals.
So before we finish this off, I just got one question for Joel. So it's not impressive that Kawhi led the team in scoring, rebounding, steals, and blocks.
That's 4
out of the 5 major categories.
I mean, look, it's impressive, but
it's great.
I don't think blocks are everything. Yeah, I just really don't. I don't think steals are everything either. Steph Curry led the league in steals. Like, who cares? It's just a number.
But Kawhi's a great defender to go along with the steals, though. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, he's a great defender.
You're going to get that two-way player.
I mean,
he's an all-time great defender.
You have to add context to those numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to add context. I think, okay, this is the problem that I have with Kawhi winning the championship and getting all this credit. The problem I have is that he didn't play better against the Warriors than Harden played against the Warriors. Harden had better efficiency. He had better numbers, and he was considered that he choked. The reason why Kawhi gets credit is because winning bias. They won, so nobody cares. That's why it's winning bias.
Or maybe because
he was playing absurdly well. It's that they won. And if they would have lost, we would have been on Kawhi the same way we were on other stars. But they won, so it's winning bias. And people have
maybe just because Harden, just like Curry, Harden doesn't show up in fourth quarters either?
Actually, every single fourth quarter that Houston had against the Warriors, their efficiency, their offensive rating was off the roof. The Warriors were just better. The Warriors were just better. But, I mean, look, Kawhi didn't have to face a Kevin Durant one game. He had to face him for like what? Maybe a few minutes? Come on, man. Not going to compare that. I
mean, they played in 2017 and he was blowing them out before he messed his leg.
Yeah. Portland was blowing them out too, and they blew every single lead. That doesn't mean nothing.
The difference is
we know that Kevin Durant wasn't playing that series though.
We know that
Kawhi was killing KD. He was killing KD.
We know that the Warriors
locking him up.
We know that the Warriors come back from leads. So honestly, who cares? They came back that game too. So
when Kawhi left.
But they still came back. When
Kawhi left. They had nobody score.
You're giving me a sample of a half. That's a half. Like, you understand? That's a half.
He was killing.
That's a half. I'm not going to go by.
We all agree the series would have been different if Kawhi had played every game.
It would have been different, but would have
definitely been different?
No, they wouldn't have won.
Probably not. Just like all the other teams don't win if they're healthy. Same shit.
Doesn't deserve the credit, man. Stop.
All right, so obviously Joel feels that he doesn't deserve all the credit. I feel he kind of does deserve all the credit. So leave us your opinion in the comment section. So we're gonna go on to the next topic right now, and this is obviously for Joel and River. I'll let you guys decide who goes first. But who has a brighter future, the Atlanta Hawks or the Pelicans? Whoever wants to go first, take the stand.
I guess I'll go first because he's just first. I ain't picked the Hawks. My boy on the Hawks. I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Pelicans. And why I'm gonna go with the Pelicans? I have Zion Williamson. Like, that is all I need to say. Nah, all jokes aside though. Lonzo Ball, young. Brandon Ingram, young. Jackson Hayes, young. Zion. Drew Holiday, he still can ball. They got Derek Favors, was a good piece. They have guys that love to play with each other so well. Josh Hart coming up the bench. Nickel Walker, who's a good player. He's going to develop. They have guys who are the continuity, like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion. You've seen it when Zion came back. The chemistry was there, like, instantly. You got Lonzo Ball, who has the chance to be very, very special. Brandon Ingram, who's already shown he could be a bucket. Drew Holiday can still play ball at 29, 30 years old. He can still give you 19, 7, and 4, and elite defense. Zion is Zion. I don't really need to talk too much about that. He's Zion. Jackson Hayes, he can turn into a very good big man, rim protector type of player. You got Derek Favors for the leadership. Josh Hart coming up the bench. This team is just fit to run so perfectly. And if they keep building, I don't see how the Hawks can have a brighter future. You got Cam Reddish, who's still a question mark in other people's eyes, not mine, but other people's eyes. You got Trae Young. Yeah, he's great. He also is the worst defender I've ever seen in my life. You got, what's his name? Jack Collins. What's his name? John Collins. He's good. He can ball, but you got to see more of him. He doesn't get the ball much. Trae Young is very ball dominant. He doesn't move without the ball. You got DeAndre Hunter. He's 22. He's slow on defense. You can see the inconsistency with him. Kevin Huerter, they really tried to call him Klay Thompson. He's not Klay Thompson. I don't know why they did that. Then you picked up Clint Capella. I mean, he's a good defender, yeah, but what are you going to do? Throw oops to him all game? That's not really something like – you see the Rockets, it didn't work. So what makes you think you can come here? It's going to – I don't know why they thought it was going to work. And then, I mean, come on. Like, I don't see, like, Zion – the Hawks. I don't see what you see, but you can tell me what you see. DeAndre Bembry, like, okay.
Thanks for giving
DeAndre Bembry.
Thanks for giving me a analysis about every player on the Hawks roster. No, I don't think anybody thinks Kevin Huerter is going to be Klay Thompson. I don't even think he might be Nick Stauskas. But look, this the thing. Look, this is what I feel. I think the Pelicans have an absurd amount of talent. But how are they all going to mesh together when all of them reach their best selves, which each of them are heading towards right now? The Hawks have the advantage that these players are figuring themselves out, and it's certain that Trae Young is the best, and he is going to dominate the ball. On the Pelicans, as these players get better, who knows what's going to happen? They might – right now they love playing with each other, but as they play more, they want more touches. Who knows what's going to happen? And there's always that risk with injury with Zion. And that's why I'm holding out hope for them, because there's that risk with Zion. Now, he's a wild card. You know, I think that Trae Young, he's averaging 29 and 9 his second season. Like, that's unbelievable for him to do. I don't think he's going away anytime soon. And you wanted to disrespect Clint Capella. I don't love Capella. I know that he didn't fit what the Rockets wanted to do. But let's not act like his oops cannot be effective. Let's not act like he wasn't averaging 16 to 17 off of oops and just putbacks all game. I mean, that's what he does, and he's a good defender, which is going to help Trae Young and the Hawks be formidable on defense. And he'll be a perfect pick-and-roll partner for Trae Young, which is what he needs. So I think the Hawks have so much cap space that they can sign good to great players. This upcoming offseason, I think if you have an offseason where you sign Danilo Gallinari or maybe a Marcus Morris type of player, and you have Trae Young, Gallinari, John Collins, Clint Capella, I think that's a playoff team. And what if they draft Anthony Edwards and they have Edwards, Young, and Gallinari and John Collins? I think right now the Hawks they're a mystery because they can go in so many directions and they can bring in an absurd amount of talent and they might become superstars. The Pelicans, we already know what they have. So you're banking on what they have. I'm banking on what the Hawks can have.
Could have.
I'm banking on that.
Yeah.
I think they could have.
Red,
could have something more than the Pelicans.
One question for Joel. Do you think the Hawks are going to do a good job convincing these guys to play for them? Like, do you
Come from
think
Atlanta?
yeah, like, realistically, like, I mean,
Atlanta now? After what it looks like now? Yeah. Okay.
that was just a question for the side, but I'll let Riv go.
I mean, look, man, I think that money convinces everybody.
Mm.
Gallinari isn't going to take $15 million on a winning team versus $25 million on the Hawks. He's going to take that $25 million.
They're going to pay him. Wow, good luck with that. I just want to say one thing because it's funny to me because, like you said, I'm banking on what we already have, which is Zion. You're banking on what you could have, which is DeAndre Hunter. I just – listen. I watch the Hawks. I watch the Hawks all the time. I watch them all year. One of my favorite players is on there. I watch them. Joel probably watched more of the Pelicans than I did. I watched a few Pelicans games, though. But I watched the Hawks all year. And I don't see any day of the week that their defense is going to change. They are one of the worst defensive teams. You know who their best defender was this year? You know, Joel?
Probably DeAndre Hunter.
No, it wasn't.
Reddish.
Yeah, that's who it was.
I mean, he's not a bad defender, though.
No, he's a good defender. That is a rookie. That's a rookie.
I mean, most of the players they play are rookies or in their second year.
In New Orleans, you got a 6'9" bucket that can go bucket for bucket against wings in the league. You have Zion. I don't got to talk too much about it. You got Lonzo Ball who can dish it, and he can also play defense. A point guard that can play defense is very valuable in the league. A high IQ point guard who can play defense is valuable in the league. Trae Young is a high IQ player. Don't get me wrong. He's a scorer. He doesn't – I don't even know if he – I think he does. He just can't play defense. You got Drew Holiday in the backcourt who can lock up and score. He's an underrated star in the league, and he's going to be around for a while. I would put all-star level. He's a star.
He has a max contract.
Well, I think he's an underrated star. I mean, I don't know why he has a max contract, but I think
he's an underrated player. It's fair to say.
Yeah, he's underrated.
Look, I'll say this. He's a player that isn't known amongst NBA fans. But if we're talking about his contract and his position, he's not an underrated star.
I wasn't talking about his contract. I was just talking about strictly people not knowing him. He's an underrated guy. Like, you should know who he is.
Look, this is where you're faulting in. Zion Williamson is amazing, but he's bad on defense too. He's not a good defender.
He's not worse than Trae Young.
All right, but Trae Young is 6'1". Trae Young is 6'1".
So was Chris Paul.
All right, but I'm saying
so was Gary Payton.
There is an excuse for.
So was Gary Payton.
He was 6'4".
Gary Payton was not 6'4". What's wrong with you?
Gary Payton was what, 6'1", 6'2", right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Where'd you get that from?
I want to check that because I don't know.
He
was 6'4", bro. He was 6'4".
He's 6'4"?
Yeah, stop playing.
What? He looks mad little.
I thought GP was 6'2". I mean, damn, we learn something new every day then.
Look, but this is what I'm saying, man. There's an excuse for Trae Young at least. Zion is a freak of nature who's bad on defense. He's slow on his feet. He can't guard on the perimeter. He can't, all right, and Trae Young is 19. He's like 20. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Who would you take? Talent.
I would take
injuries. Talent.
I would take Zion. But I'm saying let's say this because you're so high on Reddish. Let's say Reddish turns into the player that you think he's going to turn into.
He is.
Which is what?
A superstar.
Okay, so if Cam Reddish turns into a superstar, Trae Young is a superstar.
But that's not what you believe.
Clint Capella, if Clint Capella averages 17 and 12 in the East, he's an all-star. If they have a superstar in Reddish, a superstar in Trae Young, and a really good player in Clint Capella, how good will they be?
Don't let him do it. That's not what he thinks. He doesn't think Cam's going to be a superstar. It's about what you think the Hawks.
No, but you've been talking about this whole time that they aren't going to do anything.
But that's me, though. That's not – no.
But you got to understand that if you feel like Cam Reddish is going to become a superstar and Trae Young, we can all agree he's a star, and Clint Capella is a really good player, Clint Capella could be an Eastern All-Star.
They don't do that.
He can do that.
Clint Capella would never make the All-Star game.
I don't know.
Clint Capella would never – because it doesn't go East-West like that no more. He's not going to get voted in the starters, so he's not going to get –
No, he won't. But he can make it. I think he can make it.
How many East big men made the All-Star team besides Joel Embiid?
Look, I'm not – look,
not a
lot.
That's
but
it.
I'm just saying.
And Giannis.
But I'm just saying, Clint Capella,
they're not going to make it.
His numbers like 17 and 12, I mean, those are kind of
That's
borderline
Andre
all-star
Drummond
numbers.
That's Andre Drummond numbers.
Andre Drummond's made the All-Star game, though.
But he's not going to make it over Andre Drummond. And that's like,
why not?
Well, I mean, it depends. Winning matters. Andre Drummond's team looks like it's not going to be winning for a very long time. Clint Capella, I mean, with a couple right pieces.
I'm saying
I could see them being in the playoffs.
If you think the Hawks will have two superstars in Reddish and Trae Young, and what is
not what I think because I didn't pick the Hawks.
What is John Collins? He's a pretty goddamn good.
John Collins is nice.
And Clint Capella. So their ceiling is high. If you think Cam Reddish is going to be a superstar, I don't think he's going to be a superstar. But I think if they draft one like an Anthony Edwards, they will.
That's another shot sucking inefficient player you're bringing into a backcourt who he also doesn't play that much defense.
Isn't he good though?
He's good. He's a shot chucking player. So you got Trae Young, shot chucker. You got Anthony Edwards, shot chucker. They both don't play deep. They're both undersized for their positions.
Well, what if you're bringing in two guys?
Now you're bringing in two guys who don't. Because you said Anthony Edwards. Now you're bringing in two guys who don't really – Trae Young passes the ball, yeah. Anthony Edwards doesn't. They both are volume shooters. They like to shoot. John Collins is a great player, but he doesn't even touch the ball like that. And he should be, but he doesn't. So now you're bringing in two guys. You're bringing in guys who don't help your defense, and that's the problem with Atlanta. Atlanta can score with any team in the league, and that was last year. But they can't play defense
at all.
The Pelicans got Lonzo. The Pelicans got Lonzo, Holiday, Brandon Ingram.
Derek Favors is a good defender.
Derek Favors, Jackson Hayes, he's going to be good, bro. I'm telling you. Lonzo Ball's going to be a star.
But as of right now, how everything's set up, I mean, the Western Conference is a tougher conference than the Eastern Conference.
The East is getting there. It's getting there. Literally.
Come on, man.
East, it's getting there. Come on, bro.
I mean,
are you are naming Jackson Hayes?
He's not bad, Joel.
He has potential.
Not bad.
He has potential, but come on, when you're
talking about the future.
All right, we're talking about the future with the Hawks too. Like
you said bring in Danilo Gallinari.
They could.
But that's because they have cap space.
He's a good stretch four. He could play the three.
Can't play defense. The problem is they can't play defense.
Gallinari's not a bad defender.
But he's not a good one.
He is a good one. He's just not.
He's going to start. He's going to start.
If he starts he could start at the 3. Yeah.
So you're halting your young players. What are you doing?
What can the Hawks do? They can build Trae Young. They can surround him with shooters. I mean, that's what they could do. You know, I think right now the way in the league is to surround players with shooters. So they could do that really well. When your player can shoot like Trae Young, the ceiling for your team is really, really high.
If you build the right pieces, but I think the ceiling.
And I think right now, just the main thing that the Hawks shouldn't do is burn all their cap and draft well. And I think that right now, the Hawks are a wild card because they can go in so many different directions. They can trade John Collins and maybe draft Obi Toppin. I mean, they could get a bunch of pieces from him. They could do a lot of things.
This is why they're gonna mess up for dumb shit like that. Why would you draft Obi Toppin if you have John Collins? He
because
can't play the
stretch
3.
The floor better than John.
Obi Toppin can't play the 3.
I mean, I'm saying he could play the 4. You could stretch. You could be a stretch 4. He would be the perfect stretch 4 in today's league.
Can't shoot.
Come on, man. You serious?
What do you watch?
I'll watch games. He's not a bad shooter.
Question for both of you. So, I mean, Ray, you think it's laughable to add Danilo Gallinari, but I've heard you on many occasions say that you don't think DeAndre Hunter is going to amount up to anything.
Not anything, but I don't think he's going to be what they think he's going to be, which is a star.
I mean, you replace Danilo Gallinari for DeAndre Hunter. I mean, Joel, what are your expectations for DeAndre Hunter? He's 22 years old.
I mean, I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be a solid player, a good defender. Now, I don't think he'll be like a star or superstar, but I think he'll be a pretty good defender.
It's safe to say Gallinari would be a major upgrade.
Offensively.
Fair? But this is what I'm saying, man. I just think that the Hawks are a wild card. They can go in so many different directions, and they can really build this thing up right. I think the Pelicans, they're already there. That's going to be what they're going to run with for now until the wheels fall off. And I'm not sure how good that's going to be. Because if Zion gets injured, this whole thing collapses.
I mean, that's if Trae Young gets injured, the whole thing collapses.
Not really. You think Cam Reddish is going to be a superstar. So he might not.
You got me there. Okay. I'm just saying, man, the Pelicans, man, the chemistry is crazy. You've seen it.
You got to look at the amount of picks that the Hawks have. They have a lot of picks. They have a
do
lot of picks.
They do have a lot of draft capital.
So they got a lot of things going for them right now.
The Pelicans got Zion.
I mean, I think we've stressed this enough. I think Joel obviously picks the Hawks. Rib obviously picks the Pelicans. Let's move on. So, can Luka, Doncic, and company make a run in the playoffs? Whoever wants to take the stand first, go ahead.
It depends. They doing a new playoff format?
If they're doing a new playoff format, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know who they would play in the first round.
Let's just say
they play the Clippers.
What?
Yeah.
They're gonna get smoked.
Gentlemen sweep. What do you think, Joel? Do you think Luka? Let's say regular format.
I think they face the Clippers regular format too.
Okay, so let's just say regular format. What do you think Luka can do? What can company?
Regular format. If they face the Clippers, Luka will have a horrible series, and it's gonna be over. He's gonna be inefficient. He's gonna be bad because Kawhi or Paul George are gonna guard him, or Patrick Beverly. It doesn't matter. I think the wild card for them in the playoffs is Kristaps Porzingis. He has to play like a superstar alongside Luka Doncic, because if Luka Doncic and Porzingis are going and they're playing at a superstar level, I think they can match Paul George and Kawhi. I just don't know about the role players. You know, that's the thing. But I think outside of the Lakers and the Clippers, the Mavericks can beat and upset any team. They can upset Denver. They can upset Houston. They can upset Utah. They can upset Oklahoma City. So outside of the top two teams, they can upset anybody because of Luka and Porzingis' star power.
Even your Rockets?
Even the Rockets, yes. Because I think Luka and Porzingis, Porzingis especially with the small ball lineup, he's gonna cook. But that's what I feel like. But they're probably gonna face the Clippers, and if they do, it's over. They're not gonna win.
How many games do they win?
I think they win maybe if they're lucky 5. They win 1 and it goes to 5.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening when you said something about Luka and Porzingis can beat. You said something dumb. It was so
they can
dumb.
Match their star power.
Yeah, that was dumb.
George was having an off year.
Listen, Porzingis never played in the playoffs before. Luka either. This is going to be the so it's going to be a little tough to see. But I don't know. Like you said, they can upset Denver. I don't really see them beating Denver. I don't see them beating Houston.
You made this statement about Luka and Porzingis have never played in the playoffs. You're not wrong, but Paul George plays like he's never played in the playoffs.
You can say that, but at the same time, you could say that.
But then he's also had some great postseason runs too.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you really saying? Like,
he's a wild card.
He's a wild card. But Porzingis, he's been off all year, so I don't know. Like,
it's the thing, man. I think obviously if we go by like a ladder of players, Kawhi's 1, Luka's 2nd, George is 3, and Porzingis is 4.
The Clippers bench is dominant.
I know. That's why I said that I think Porzingis and Luka can match their star power, but it's going to be the role players that really decide it.
Listen, you said some bullshit. The Dallas Mavericks are not going to upset the Rockets. I'm talking. They're not going to beat Denver. They can beat weak Utah. They can beat the Thunder. Utah, that's a JC team. They can beat them. But the Rockets.
Thunder. I'm not a Thunder fan.
No, I said Utah. It's your team. Those are your guys.
Oh.
Dallas can't beat Houston. They have no answer for James Harden. Like, not even an answer that can contain him. They have nothing for him. So they're not going to beat him.
Smith.
If you're walking into the playoffs, that's your wing defender. You're not.
Obviously, nobody can stop Harden or Westbrook, but nobody can stop Porzingis. Nobody can stop Luka.
What's stopping Porzingis? Like, what's getting him started?
What seed are the Clippers and what seed are the Mavericks?
Mavericks are the 7th seed, I believe.
Clippers are 2.
Really? I thought it was Memphis.
Memphis is 8.
Memphis is 8, yeah.
They'll either play Denver or the Clippers.
Houston is 6 and OKC is 5th. And Dallas is 7th.
Yeah, but everybody was so close. This is kind of – not that it's unfair, but it's kind of like came at the worst time for Dallas.
They can't beat Denver. Why would you say Denver?
I think they can beat Denver. Who's guarding Luka?
Nobody. Oh, wait. Your man's Craig. No, let me stop. Let me stop.
Do a pretty
Who's
good
guarding Luka?
Yeah,
What does that even mean?
Wait, who's guarding who?
I think we've seen in the playoffs that one-man show that bum over in Houston runs every year. It doesn't work. You need a team. And Denver's
So the Western
better
Conference Finals 2 times in a row. I mean, 2 times in his career.
I hear no finals. So like I was saying, you need a team to win, bro. And Denver has the better team, bro.
Denver, okay, Jamal Murray. I'd rather take Luka over Jamal Murray and Gary Harris, honestly.
You probably would, considering the fact that Gary Harris doesn't start anymore.
Who starts then? Who's the 2?
Will Barton.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Hardaway and Will Barton. I mean, that's not that far.
All right.
Wow.
That's not that far off.
All right.
I'd take Seth Curry over Gary Harris.
Seth Curry's a good player.
Seth Curry is a good player.
Wait, what about Porzingis and Jokic? Who would win that matchup?
What you think? I'm here for it. What do you think?
I think Porzingis is a better all-around player. He's a better offensive player. He's a better defensive player. He's not the playmaker that Jokic is, but I don't think that Jokic can guard Porzingis. I think Porzingis would do a better job guarding Jokic than Jokic does guarding.
Hold on. Offensively, the only thing Porzingis does definitively better is shoot the 3 ball.
That's what you need now.
The Joker can do. He can shoot the 3, he can hit the mid range, and he has a good post game. You don't see Porzingis going in a post like that against bigs because he's freaking skinny and frail.
Willie Cauley-Stein also has probably the best defensive rating since he got to Dallas too. He's a good defender.
That's fine. He can't check Joker. And they got Jeremy Grant. They got Torrey Craig. Like
Jeremy Grant. I'm not scared of Jeremy Grant. It's like the Nuggets have a bunch of great, not even great. They have good role players, but they made a mistake on letting go of Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley's really good. They let him go.
We get it. He performed on the team that sucked. I know. Kudos to that. Yeah.
I mean, he had good numbers in Denver. He just didn't get playing time. But okay, let's just talk about this.
Come on, bro.
Let's just talk about this. They have good role players, but they don't have star power. I think the Mavericks have star power. Luka is better than Jokic. And Jokic is better than Porzingis, but the Mavericks have 2 of the best 3 players if they play in the series.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you're just throwing.
Murray could have
it's Luka, it's Jokic, it's Porzingis, and then there's a gap, and it's Murray or Paul Millsap.
But for a 7-game series, Jamal Murray can play better than Porzingis. You're acting like he can't. We've never seen Porzingis play in a series ever. He's still. You can tell by this year he's still a little rusty. I don't know.
Dallas Mavericks efficiency this year, their offensive rating is one of the best in NBA history.
Yeah, kudos to that. Regular season. Throw that shit out the window. It is the playoffs, bro.
What do you mean?
All that is dead.
I'm not throwing it out the window. I'm not.
Who got the better bench?
Denver.
Dallas doesn't have a bad bench.
No, I'm not saying they don't, but Denver.
Jalen Brunson's pretty good.
Denver is
Brunson, Maxi Kleber.
Monte Morris is better than Jalen Brunson.
All right, but I mean, look, role players don't win in for the most part. Role players don't win in the playoffs.
You just went.
It's
who just
star
went buck on Kawhi? He just went buck on Kawhi about how his role players did all this, and then they don't win.
Well, that's because Kawhi played better than Choke Curry. That's why. So his star played better.
They averaged the same amount of points.
Why did Toronto win though? Because they had star power. Kyle Lowry's an all-star. Siakam was ascending and became an all-star this year. So they had star power.
Siakam wasn't a star last year.
Siakam he had good numbers. I mean, Kyle Lowry was definitely an all-star.
17, 8, and 4.
Kyle Lowry's an all-star that puts up 0 in playoff games. That means nothing.
Usually in the playoffs, star power wins you. If you have more stars, you win. That's just what it is. If you have more stars, you win.
And I'm not too sure about Luka going in the playoffs and dropping an egg. I think he's going to dominate.
He ain't going to go and he's going to drop 30.
He's going to dominate.
He ain't going to drop no egg. That's for bums. He ain't going to drop no egg. But to just say Porzingis is going to go crazy, that's crazy to me.
You were even one person to say that you don't know how Jokic is going to be conditioned when he goes into the playoffs. He might be gassed.
Yeah, until we saw the last 20, 25 games, he lost weight and he played better than he played.
Have you seen him since the quarantine, how much weight he's lost?
Yeah, he looks skinny as hell.
Dude, that's crazy.
I just don't see the Porzingis because you were the same person who's like Porzingis isn't even that good, and now you're talking about Porzingis is all of a sudden this guy that can do some things. Like, so I don't.
Look. Kevin Durant called him a unicorn. That's exactly what he is. I've never heard anybody call Jokic or Jamal Murray a unicorn. Never had.
Jamal Murray's pretty good though. You're acting like he's
Jamal Murray's pretty good, but I think his ceiling is borderline all-star, never superstar.
That's fair to say.
He will never be a top point guard in the West, and that's why everybody is down on Denver because what is Denver's problem? What has been their problem? No star power. Remember when they traded Carmelo and they were a great team, but they had no star power? That's kind of like what's happening right now, except they have one in Jokic, but we are not too sure about Jokic because he's not a good defender at all. So, I mean, look, they don't have enough star power. They just have one all-star. Dallas has two.
Porzingis didn't make the all-star team this year.
Well, I still consider Porzingis an all-star.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, right, okay.
Consider him an all-star.
He didn't make the all-star.
Consider him an all-star. You
His
don't
numbers
think he's a star? You don't think he's considered as a player that has star power?
Star potential, yeah.
I think Porzingis can change. He could change the momentum of a game. Like that's how good of a player he is.
He's a good player.
We've seen in the playoffs Jamal Murray do the same thing.
Against who, man? The Spurs when he had what's this guy's name on the Spurs guarding him? What's
Devin
his name?
White?
Yeah, Devin White.
Derek White.
Come on, man.
At the playoff game.
Are you serious? Derek
You're
White.
gonna.
They went to 7.
What the hell?
Yeah, they went to 7. That just shows how like not good Denver can be, man. Come on, Derek White.
I can literally see that series between Dallas.
Yeah, going 7.
Really going to 7 games. Yeah, I really could.
You trying to knock Denver like they ain't go the same place the Rockets went last year, the second round, and they both lost. Like I don't get what you're saying.
They lost in 7 though.
One loss to Portland, who got swept One loss to Portland, who got swept by the Warriors. The other loss to the Warriors that made the finals and swept the Blazers. So yeah,
one team lost. And think about it like this: Portland beat them because they have the more experienced star. You're playing up against two, let's call them babies, because they've never touched the playoffs in their life. So you're basically playing freshmen coming into the league, playing freshmen in the playoffs.
There's a difference. Jokic, Lillard is an experienced star. That is true.
Established.
But Lillard has a ceiling. Luka ceiling is LeBron James impact. Like that caliber superstar X factor player. That is Luka's ceiling. That's not Luka's ceiling.
He had a phenomenal season this year, though. Phenomenal.
LeBron James.
I got to see more to be LeBron, but he's off to a really good start.
I'm not saying Luka has a potential to be the best player in the NBA. The best.
It's like you just
fair enough. Fair.
Yeah, that's fair, but it still don't change the fact that he can play shitty at any moment.
It doesn't take away from the fact that this season Luka's a top 5 player.
That's cool. What does that mean to
this year? What do you mean? What does it mean? He's a top.
We've seen guys turn into top 5 players in the regular season and then play a playoff game and they're not the same. It's a different atmosphere. You wouldn't know that though because you're a Rockets fan. So let me explain it to you. When you go to the playoffs, the whistle gets tighter and the defense gets a little better and the game just changes. I know you don't get it. I know your Knicks haven't been there in a while. I understand it's been a long time. So listen, the playoffs are a little different, especially for freshmen coming in. Like the Porzingis, whose season isn't that great. You called him All-Star. I didn't see him on the All-Star weekend, so maybe I'm bugging. I don't know. You tell me.
I know that when Luka got injured, the Mavericks had a winning record by a lot because Porzingis started playing like a real star.
How many games?
I forgot how many games. I just know that
it wasn't 20. It wasn't 20.
Didn't they beat the Clippers without Luka? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they did, though. I'm not.
The Tims beat them too.
Sure.
The Tims beat them too. What does that mean?
It means that they can beat a great team just having Porzingis because Porzingis is that good. And their role players are really underrated. Don't sleep on their role players. Don't sleep on their role players.
Tim Hardaway had a good year.
I'm telling you, Tim Hardaway, Seth Curry, Max Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith is really good too.
Who? Dorian Finney-Smith?
He's good.
He's okay.
He's good.
He's all right. He's solid.
He's okay.
I'm saying don't look. Denver is what you are talking about. A regular season team. That's what Denver is. They're a regular season team. That's
You've never seen Dallas.
I don't think they will be a regular season team. If they face the Clippers, they'll be out. But anybody else, I think they will upset them.
It's fair to say you got to start somewhere. Remember that year Curry upset Denver? That one year when he was a 6th seed?
Wait, so let me get this straight. Hold on, JC. I just want to get this straight before we get off here. You think Houston can beat the Clippers, yet and still you believe that Dallas can upset the Rockets?
It's matchups.
That's a good point.
I don't get it. Like,
it's matchups.
The Clippers blow the Mavericks out, so I'm confused. Like,
it's matchups. Houston can't match up with Porzingis, but they don't have to worry about a big that dominant against the Clippers. So
why can't a 7'3", why can't 6'6", 250 PJ Tucker match up with a 7'3", 185 center?
Because he can't guard him on the perimeter if he shoots. That's why.
Why can't he guard him on the perimeter?
What do you mean?
Can't just shoot over him.
Shoot over him. It's not a contest.
Wasn't he guarding KD? Didn't you say he played good against KD?
He did. Look, I'm saying Tucker is a good defender, but I'm saying like you can't compare Houston matching up with Porzingis to Houston matching up with Zubac.
Zubac he plays like 18 minutes a game, bro.
Yeah, but that's their starting center.
He only starts because Montrez wants to come off the bench.
Okay, so Montrez versus Porzingis. Who are you? Come on, man. It's not even a debate.
Porzingis is better, but Montrez is no scrub.
He's not a scrub, but I'm saying there's levels.
He's acting like Porzingis. He's acting like, it's so crazy how he loves Porzingis all of a sudden. Like he's some 25-point demon. Like, the boy averaged like 19 points a game, bro. Like, let's calm down. Like, he has unicorn potential. Let's pump the brakes. Like, he's done something this year to change our minds on anything. He's been above average at best this year.
Above average? Come on.
At best.
Now above average. Come on.
He hasn't been at the All-Star level. So
he's been a really good player. To say above average is disrespectful.
I mean, okay, he's been a really good player.
You were the same person earlier in the season saying he's coming off a torn ACL. You got to give him some time. You got to give him time,
and you're not giving him
time. I gave him time, and I've liked what I've seen. And that's why I'm predicting what can happen.
Bro, I don't think they could beat Denver. Houston, they would get swept or gentleman sweep by the top two teams. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. They could probably beat OKC. I don't know, because they could probably beat OKC. Who else? Memphis, they'll beat Memphis. Utah, I don't know, because Rudy Gobert, he might be able to guard Porzingis. I don't know, man. Utah, that would be a goodie. They're one of the best defensive teams.
The problem with the Mavs, the mismatch that they have is that they can run 5 out just like Houston. And I think once a team runs 5 out, whether it be against the Jazz or the Nuggets, they're doomed because Gobert is ineffective if he's guarding the perimeter and Jokic is too slow to try to rotate and close out on his man. So I think that's just a matchup nightmare for both those teams.
I mean, that game plan might work, might not. It depends on how good he's going to be. Because he can really struggle, honestly. So if he struggles, that game plan isn't going to work. I mean, only time will I cannot wait to the playoffs to see Dallas not go to the next round. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be so funny to me.
Well, look, I said if they face the Clippers, they won't. They won't.
Obviously.
So if it's not the Clippers, we'll see.
Okay, fair enough. We will see.
All right, so that's the end of our show. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.